Hello. In this video I'm going to add a fire explosion to the crate. So I have the crate opened up, and because all of the pieces that fly off of the crate are already particles, um, they're all activated at the same time. The simplest place to put the particle system would be right into here. So we'll just add one more particles. It will be the last one to be activated. And we'll just do all of the fire stuff. So we'll start a new particles material. In draw passes, we'll put a new quad mesh, and we'll put a material into that. So we want a new spatial material. Flags, transparent on, unshaded, vertex color, use as albedo, parameters, billboard, particle billboard. So all the standard stuff here. In albedo, I've made another image for this, and this one is kind of just a star shape and just an experiment to see what comes out of that. So we should be able to see the shape pretty easy. It's just kind of a star shape made with a feathered brush in GIMP. So just something like this, and we'll see what we can do with that. So now we'll come into the process material. Direction, we'll put that to up, but it's not going to have a lot of motion like that. I think we won't need any gravity. Initial velocity, I don't know, very small, 0.5 maybe. Can't really see anything going on. We can turn off pieces to get an idea for what's happening here. So that's kind of what the star shape comes across as, and it's actually, that's not looking that bad. And just as an idea for how that was made, we'll just start a standard file here. I just used this brush. And I just rotated it onto the different angles. And I squeezed the aspect ratio something like this. And I just did brush strokes in different angles and erased the center as I went. So when I went on to a 90-degree angle, I used the eraser to make it so the center didn't get too overstated. And just did that onto the 8 angles, and then used Gaussian blur to blur it to create a 8-pointed star shape. So that's how the image was made. Then I reduced its opacity a bit so it's largely translucent. So on this one, we can put some angular velocity. So let's put that around 50 and give a 0.5 for random on that. We'll do the color ramp. So we'll give it a texture. That will get us going through the black and white ramp. We'll put in a yellow. We'll put in an orange. And the same thing as with the explosion, we'll change these to being fully transparent. We'll put one in right up next to them and bring the alpha back. Do the same over here. And these will just inherit the original colors. So that gives us a little bit of orange and yellow color, and sort of gets us started. I'm gonna look in the material. Let's try this in a different mode. Let's try it in add and see what we get out of that, just as an experiment. A lot of the fire animations use add. So I'm going to bring that up to 20, and that's getting us a pretty nice effect. Like, that's not a bad effect. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm gonna like that shape is working pretty good. So on the emission shape, I think I'll go to a sphere, but we're gonna bring it down to being a very small sphere. So that'll get us a little additional randomness, but not a lot. So let's look at time. Probably explosiveness is where we want to go. Some random onto that. So somewhere around there should be good. And I think the rest of this is going to come from scale. So we'll use a scale curve. Let's bring this up to 2. I like it better there. And we'll look at getting that to go large. Something like that. So that gets us a flash. And I don't know, we could probably just speed up this speed scale here. And I don't intend to make a lot of fire come out of it or anything, because the pieces come out of it. So I'm going to dial this back a bit. Maybe a little less than that. Let's try this up at 1. So that's going to get us a flash, and I'm actually curious to just see what that's going to look like, just like that. And yeah, it's not likely I'm going to perfect any of these things in one video, and I still have a long way to come to be making great explosions and stuff, because it's not really something I've done a lot of in Godot, making an explosion like this. Most of my explosions have been 2D and made in Blender and then rendered as sprite sheets, so this is quite a bit different. I'm not sure what I got there. It's kind of hard to see with the muzzle flash. So we'll try that again. Maybe we could back the tank off a bit. Try from out here kind of deal. So that flash was pretty small. I think I'm gonna bring this up some. Let's see, what do we have for particles? Could try 50 and Maybe try a little more velocity and just see where that goes. Let's try something like that. So that's got a bit of a flash too. I think largely where I'm at now is just going to come out to be scale. So let's just do something exaggerated, go up to a 3. Be happy to get something working, and then I was thinking of moving on to a second gun and a cruise control on the tank's driving for gunning purposes. So get it actually something that can shoot a little better. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So I'm willing to settle for that for the flash to go along with the crate. It's good enough for now. And again, fire and explosions and smoke, that's something that I'm gonna have to work at still, because I'm just learning that. Yeah, it's considerably different trying to do that in Godot than it is trying to do it in Blender, where you're actually making simulations. Or yeah, so quite a bit different there. So what I'm looking at next is I've modeled up a new gun. So I modeled that gun up, and I'll be looking at getting it shooting and where to put it on the tank, and start looking at some stuff like that, along with I think a cruise control kind of idea to make the tank sort of be able to drive a little bit easier while manning a gun like a machine gun and being able to engage in some battle. So look at some stuff like that and see what I can figure out to make the tank controls a little bit better and a little bit more suited to have a couple different weapons on the vehicle for shooting things, and then we'll come up with some things to shoot. So that'll be in later videos. I hope this one was useful, and until the next video, take care.